Welcome to this class. Our topic of discussion today is human resource records. You find that human resource records is always the information relating to employees in an organization. So in any organization, it will have its own records pertaining to employees. And these records are always generated from the time someone is given a job, that is the employee given a job, until when that time that person exits. So in most cases, you'll find that records is the information relating to, we can talk about employee performance or performance appraisal. We can talk about absenteeism. We can talk about labor turnover and many more. So it is always very important that in any office pertaining to employees in an organization, ask for the records to show exactly what is going on. Because if you don't have these records, in most cases you are not going to make right decisions. We also have the information as from the definition that is required by other people apart from your organization. You can talk about trade unions. We can talk about government and any other person that always requires the information pertaining to the employee in that organization. So it is very important that records are always kept. And in this case, though we're still going to discuss this, is that records should always be in form of manual and in form of computer or just computerized records. We have the objectives of the human resource records, because we don't just have to keep the records of employees in an organization without a genuine reason. There are always very many reasons as to why we need to have these records. The first one is it can assist the managers in coming up with their programs. For example, you can talk about training and development of employees, whereby if it is training the employees, in most cases it's all about training the juniors and developing the senior managers in an organization. The second one is it can assist in carrying out decision making. Take an example that we've talked about performance appraisal of an employee in form of records. So in this case, if you want to make a decision who is supposed to be promoted to a higher position and who is not supposed to be promoted, you can use now the records pertaining to each and every person to make decision. We can still talk about administration of wages and salaries. The contract that an employee is always having contains what this person is supposed to receive. So it is one of the records that will be used in generating the payroll of the employees in an organization. We can still talk about preparing information concerning accidents, absenteeism. We can talk about labor turnover. We can talk about transfers, promotions, and any other activity pertaining to an employee in an organization. The other thing is it can be used in carrying out human resource audit. Audit is in line with what we call the manpower planning. And the manpower planning in most cases is assisting us in knowing the number of the employees that we need to have currently and maybe in future. For instance, if an organization is expanding, it is not expanding just in form of structures, but it is expanding in form of employees. Therefore, we need these records to carry out the human resource audit. It can also assist in carrying out research in line with the human relations or the public relations in an organization, in that you're able to know how people have been relating in an organization based on the records, because you can have that person who can do exactly what another person, and this person can also be captured in form of records. It can still assist us in getting enough knowledge concerning how recruitment and selection of employees took place, because during an interview, for you to get an employee, there must be that process, and therefore it is going to give us that information that we require in form of knowledge. And the last part of this discussion today is the essentials of good records in an organization. Or what I can say is that we need to have the features of the records in an organization. The first one is that the record should have what we call objective. Why is it that you can say record should be objective? Remember, we've said we have decision making. So the most important thing here is that we need to get the objective of the record. That is, how can we use it in making decisions? Another thing is, it should be simple and also easy to understand, so that any other person can get the records from the office of the HR or any other office and use it to make a decision. That is, it should be very easy for this person to understand exactly the information that is there. Another thing is that the record should not be having errors. If the records are having errors, in other words, you're going to make wrong choices, and by the end of the day, it is the office that is going to be given that blame. Therefore, the record should not be having errors. The other thing is that it should be consistent with the needs of the employees in an organization. Say that when you are punishing someone, you are consistent in punishing this person, and not having a situation whereby the punishment given to someone is not consistent. So you should have that feature we are talking about, consistency. The other thing is it should be easily fileable, or it can be traceable when it is required. Unlike a situation whereby you need to have a record but you cannot get that record. And the last thing is that the record should be following the principle of the economy. Economy in that it should be in a position to occupy less space in an organization. Because if it is not going to occupy less space in an organization, it means how you are keeping your records is not going to be economical in form of the cost. Because in any business, we have two main things. The first thing we can say is making profits. How can we make profits? We can make profits by minimizing our expenditure and maximizing the profits. That is all about our discussion today.